Hey, welcome to the Fun House. Of course, we're not in the Fun House. We're in some Airbnb house here in Lexington, Kentucky on a road trip. The wife is off looking at horse farms and horsey stuff like that. And of course, I went to a music store, did a quick Google search. Of course, thanks for viewing the video. Thanks for coming to this channel. Subscribe and like if you want to. So I did a quick search for Lexington, Kentucky record stores, and the first place that came up, and it was a really cool place called CD Central. So I went there and had a good time. CD Central, they do have tons of CDs, but they do have vinyl as well. I would say probably more new vinyl, but their used area was filled as well. The prices were on point. Some things you can be like, oh, I could find it like $1 or $2 cheaper on eBay, and some things, oh, this is $1 or $2 cheaper than eBay. So it was all good. You don't want to, crazy overpay anywhere you go, but yeah, this place was on point. Hey, let's get to the stuff that I found. First off, I've been putting this off for a while. I've seen it on Amazon. I saw it on his own website. I just putting it off. The reviews were in. It's pretty good. This is Ace Frehley's 10,000 Volts. This is his 8th studio album, of course, from early 2024. Picked it up for just under 14 bucks. Of course, new CD. I wasn't gonna get this on vinyl, but I'm having storage spaces. But I have so many vinyl records that unless it's something I'm gonna totally go crazy love, or a group that I collect everything from, I think I'm switching over CDs for a lot of stuff, and it's just easier. It's less space, But yeah, I've heard the title track, and I believe that's it. I know he's working on a Origins Volume 3 that should be out in a year. But this is obviously, all of his own original stuff, I believe. And yeah, I mean, he's good. He's Ace. He's got a really cool kind of tinge to his voice. His playing is really good. I did a live Ace review, I believe, on this channel of a concert maybe from 2-3 years ago. And then I met Ace last November, and I got his autograph, and I did also a video for that. Well, I do videos for everything here on the YouTube. So yeah, I'm happy to pick up this Ace Frehley 10,000 Volts. We drove our car down here, which was the latest year of a Honda CR-V that has a CD player in it, so I can still play CDs in my car. Ska Fish, of course you want to say ska because the type of the music ska, but I think it's Ska Fish. He had a relative that worked for The Loop, which is a great Chicago iconic rock radio station that now is no more. He also worked for XRT, and he would say Skafish. So I'm gonna go with Skafish on this one. It's a band, new wave kind of punk band. This was recorded way back in 1979, and they didn't like how it was mixed at all. So Jim Skafish had it remixed and all that in 2019, so recently. This group did not really stick around for long. They opened up a lot of shows for like groups like XTC and throughout Europe, I think, and also here in the States. It is interesting. It's a lot like, so he was in Erg Musical War, which is one of my favorite concert videos of all time. You have your song remains the same, Let There Be Rock from AC/DC, but if you want a slice of a whole cool lot of groups like the Police and all them in the early years, Erg, A Musical War. Hopefully everyone that's viewed this has seen that. If you're not, check it out. And he's in it. He has a song, I think the Sign of the Cross is his song in it. And he's a lot like another performer from Erg, Musical War, Klaus Nomi, I think, who's a really eccentric artist. So these eccentric, crazy, way ahead of their time artists are either hit or miss. I would say his is a little more new wave, not so I guess it's pretty eccentric stuff. So yeah, it's either really, really great, or you're like, oh, I don't know what you're trying to do there. But yeah, it's really good stuff. I'm finally glad to have seen it in LP stores forever on LP. And I always heard that it wasn't a good sounding album, so I'm glad that in 2019 they remixed it, and here we go. It's 12 songs of interesting new wave rock, and he has put out other stuff, and then he's gone solo, I believe. But and this I got for $6.98, which is about half of what you would usually find it for. So happy with that. The Outfield, the singer Curtis was his last name, I forget his first name. Always wanted to see them live. It's one of these groups that, and performers that I kicked the can too far, and then they passed away. And but you know, you spend so much to see performers. Like for instance, in August, in a few months from now, I'm seeing like I think 6 concerts, and there's still like 1 or 2 that I want to see. But it's harder as you get older too to get up the strength to get out of the house after work. But anyway, the Outfield. This is their 4th album from 1990. So you have this poppy rock 80s band. That's not a good year for them. So yeah, after their hits like Say It Isn't So, they were kind of falling off the charts. I believe they did have 1 or 2 kind of singles from this album, but yeah, it was not a big album for them, unfortunately. It was hard because a lot of these 80s pop rock bands got seen as like adult groups when when the whole thing happened with Pearl Jam, Nirvana, so on and so on. But yeah, I love his high-pitched voice, so I'm really looking forward to hearing this. And that's just a cheapy CD you'll find anywhere. Faith No More, this is their 4th one from 1992, Angel Dust. This is their hottest selling album, which is weird because you would think the real one would be the hottest selling album, but I think the real one drew people in, with their new singer at the time, Mike Patton, and I think that drew people in, and then when they came out with this one, had that weird song Easy from I believe that's the Commodore's original song, but yeah, and it had a Midlife Crisis was a big song from this. So yeah, overall this was their big hit album. Now this is a dilemma, and I'm sure some of you share the same. So I have it on vinyl. I have the reissue on vinyl, which is currently going for like 60 or more. And now I'm in times I can need some financial oomph with some hospital bills and other bills, water bills, all kind of bills. You get older kids, you get bills. That's all you get. And for space. So do I pull out an album from a band that's not my favorite from theirs? If I had to pick the top album from Faith No More, it would be The Real Thing, which I have on CD, cassette, and vinyl. And would I sell off the vinyl version? Because now if I really want to hear those songs, I can listen to the CD version. Of course, a lot of you young people are watching this, so like, you don't need anything, dude, just stream it. But I'm not gonna ever just stream something. I need to own some kind of physical version of it. That's just me. But yeah, so I don't know. If you're on eBay and you see a vinyl version of Angel Dust, bid high, because I need the money. But I don't know, I may keep it. The artwork, I don't know. Kiss Alive 2 from 1977. Of course, a lot of people will say, how alive is it? Not too much. I don't know. They put in some more studio stuff and they replayed parts of it. I'm sure they umped the crowd noise, so it's not a snapshot of the show, really. It's enhanced and all that. But and it has studio tracks on it. Now, growing up as a kid, I had the Kiss Alive 2 8-track. Of course, there's a lot of Kiss themed clips on this channel here. But yeah, so it was a no-brainer. I've had the 8-track forever, since I was a little kid, and I got it on vinyl recently, and now I got it on the CD recently. So yeah, $9.99. It's about the price you want to pay for that, but yeah, it's shocking me, hard luck woman. What's cool is I'll always hear these songs in my head from the 8-track, where certain songs faded out. They would boop, they'd fade back in. Oh, good stuff. 8-tracks, good stuff. This I pick up because my favorite rock band is Cheap Trick. It's got my favorite song of all time on it, which is Way of the World. And I was hoping, just because the artwork was kind of like cheesy, not pro, and it didn't look that pro, I was hoping it was a bootleg of a show. And my hopes weren't that good because I didn't see like recorded live from, and it is from Sony Music here, and I was like, please don't be just a compilation, but it is. It's just studio versions of all these songs that I have on all the albums. Oh Candy, Come On, Come On, Hello Kitties, Surrender, of course. I just saw Cheap Trick for like the 100th time recently, and they still sound great. But yeah, I was really hoping this was gonna be like a bootleg, but that was only $4, and now I have yet another Cheap Trick CD. All right, let's get into the vinyl portion. A band that, if you watch this channel, I was in Iceland in October Iceland in October, Kentucky here in May, world traveler I am. And I went to a store up there and found a local Chicago band from way back when I was a hip cat in the scene. Not Rebecca. This was 1995, a great year for Chicago pop punk, if I must say so myself. This came out on Thick. It is 2 songs. It is a picture disc. I have it already. I've had it ever since it came out, and I will just probably hand this off to a friend who does not have it, because like I said, if you're looking for good indie rock, college rock, pop punk music from that era, look no further than the Chicago suburban band called Not Rebecca. And they're all playing in current groups and stuff like that, so they're still all active today. Another thing that was recorded from Guy Paul that was in the Effigies, which is a long historic Chicago punk rock band. Also 1995, I believe, he went to studio and recorded this at the Indicators. I don't think they have a lot of music out. I think they just did a few things, but it came out on VML, which is Joey Vindictive's record. The Vindictives, classic Chicago snotty punk rock band, great stuff. So yeah, it's got 2 songs from that. So yeah, I always, when I approach a store, like my first time, I just kind of walk in, look over the place. If I could find albums that I own and albums that I know how much they're worth, and look at what they're pricing them, so I can kind of get a feel like, okay, is this store, you know, good, or are they crazy high, or is this some crazy low store? It's hard to find crazy low anymore because everyone just looks on the air like, oh yeah, this album is worth this CD is worth this. Before the internet, what? There was a world before the internet? Yes, it was easy, way easier to find steals, I think, because people didn't always know what stuff was worth, or they just didn't care. But yeah, everything seems to be priced about the same. So yeah, I always check on albums to see how they priced. This particular store, because it was called CD Central, I kind of knew I was going to look for lots of CDs. And there's not a lot of CDs that I want, but I always find stuff. And I was alone, so I had plenty of time to go slow. And yeah, it was a great store. And they had a local music area, which I always love in a store that supports their groups from around town. And then they had like a used punk area with all these 7-inches. They had rock, used rock, jazz, soundtrack, you know, your average stuff there. So the big vinyl purchase, where is right here. You know this band from Turning Japanese, big 80s song. I'm talking about The Vapors, new wave band from England. This is their 2nd album. And they have a song on here called Jimmy Jones, which I have the 7-inch single of that, which is a cool artwork and all that stuff on there. This came out in '81, which is probably one of my favorite years for rock and roll. And unfortunately, the 80s were a very choosy time. Certain groups like Culture Club, Duran Duran, Cure would be allowed to have a few hits, or a career throughout the 80s, you might say. Where a lot of groups, unfortunately, were just seen as like one hit. People just all like that one song, and they just kind of wouldn't support them anymore. So that's why you had a lot of one hit, or the album industry just wouldn't support it. That's kind of what happened, I think they said, with this particular album. Is the album label they were on got purchased out by another company, and those new people in charge didn't really want to promote this band that much. Who knows why? So yeah, a lot of groups, unfortunately, they have their big career where they get signed by a huge label, but because of one person in charge, or their scout that signed them left, or there's a lot of weird things that can happen, that the group just isn't in the spotlight for long. So anyway, this has a lot of good songs in it, and the artwork is kind of cool. Far away looks like an eye, up close you see a whole bunch of people, and it looks like a car accident. This was drawn by the same artist, a Mr. Hedford, who drew the Where's Waldo series. So it's kind of cool. And what it is a scene of a crime there, the cops trying to hold everyone off. And the shooter of the crime, I don't know, hopefully it'll be clear. The shooter is putting away his rifle way up there. So he's the guy who did it. He did it. look for him, please. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. I had a great time at this one store. I may try to hit one or two more. I don't even know if Lexington, Kentucky has more than one record store, but it's been a good time here so far. So yeah, that's it, and well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.